Yes, you are able to see my screen or no?
Yeah.
Okay, fine, yeah. So this is Mohan. I'm just basically working for robotic process automation for first 1.5 year onwards. So today, so we're going to talk about what is RPA. So in terms of how the generation is moving along with the RPA. So along with that, I'm just going to introduce the UiPath components. Fine. So this is the agenda which we are going to talk throughout this demonstration class. So what is RPA? Where it got started, and why we want to utilize let's say that RPA? Where exactly we are using RPA in this market now? And what are the tools that are available in the market to automate the process? So of course, for every tool we have limitations. So that we're going to discuss about the limitations about robotic process automation. So along with that, I'm going to talk about UiPath introduction, UiPath components. Along with that, we're going to talk about how the data is flowed. So in terms of like UiPath architecture. Right. So this is the agenda to which we are going to talk today. So coming to this, what is robotic process automation? So let us flip to the Excel sheet. Let us discover what is R, what is P, and what is A. See, I'm just a robot R and A. I'm just going to park aside for time being. So let us discuss about the process. Can anyone tell me what is a process in your mind? Let us interact this so that the session will be live. Any idea on what is process? Okay, fine. So I'm going to talk about the process. The process is nothing but it is runtime environment where the process is running. Let's say example, you are developing one project like invoicing management system by using a .NET or Java project. The language. After this invoice management system process, it is going to be deployed into the production. So once you've done the production, once you're done with the testing, UAT, and all the stuff done, then finally we are going to push the entire invoice management system into production environment. So that is nothing but runtime environment. So where entire process, where the end user is using this invoicing management system is called a process, like invoice management system. We have a student management system. That means that once you develop the project, colleges, right? So they are going to use the student management system. So let's talk about this is also one type of process where they're going to process the student management system in terms of how they're processing like login, entering information, so validating all the stuff. It will be part of the process. Along with that, employee management system. So what is this employee management system? Again, it is one of the process. They are going to follow some guidelines. They are going to follow some rule-based process. So we are going to talk about, when we talk about RPA, robotic process automation, we are completely going to talk about the process. The process is nothing but runtime environment, the where the end user are using this process. I mean to say that once you develop the product, once you develop the project should be deployed into the production environment. So where the end user are using this process, like invoicing management system, the student management system, or employee management system, or any insurance systems or banking sector. So whatever the process it is, I hope you got it. What the process now? Now, we have different types of process in the market. So where they're thinking that why can't we automate the process? Because coming to the invoicing management system, what exactly they are doing there, so they are getting invoices numbers. Let's say example, who is processing invoicing management system here? The BPO sector is processing the invoicing management system. Who is the BPO sector here? Business process outsourcing. They are getting n number of invoices per day. So they are going to assign the team. Okay, so let's say example you have 10% team in your company. So obviously you may be getting thousand invoices per day. So what you are going to do? each and every person you are going to assign 100 invoices. So they have a target like to make sure that you have to process 100 invoices per day. So coming to this invoices processing, so they are doing all the repetitive tasks. Coming to like they are getting invoices from the mail, they are picking the invoice, and they have a desired application where we are going to process the invoices. That might have developed with any type of language. I don't want bother about language for automate the process. So I have a desired application which is running on web or web windows. It's pretty much good for us to automate the process. After this, so what they are getting the invoice number. They're entering the invoice number on the respective system or application where they are going to process the automation. Where they are going to process the invoicing systems. So they are once login, so they are entering invoice number into the system. After that, they are going to validate this invoice number is correct or not. If its invoice number is correct, then they are going to process like how much I have to deliver this. Based on calculations, based on rule-based business, where they are going to process something. After that, finally they are going to pay or deny or pen this invoice number. So this is called basically when we talk about invoice management system. The entire process I'm going to automate by using robotic software robots. Here, what is a robot is nothing but it's like a software robot. A robot is like one mission. So where I'm going to assign my process to that particular mission, which is going to process. Any doubt on this RPA? Like just given the process like robotic process automation. So we have different set of process. So this process I'm going to automate so by using robots, and we have along with this we have different types of tools market in the market, right? We have different types of tools: UiPath, Blue Prism, Automation Anywhere, so OpenSpan. So we have and so on. We have different types of tools available in the market. So by using tools, I'm going to automate this process by using software robots. Can you please mute yourself so that thank you. Any doubts in this RPA, robotic process automation? Where exactly we are going to use it? That we have to understand first of all. We have different types of automation tools that are available in the market apart from robotics, right? So we have a Selenium software where we are going to automate the testing process, right? So apart from that, we have where exactly we are using the robotic process automation. So we have runtime environment where we are, people are doing the business process outsourcing, doing the repetitive tasks where I can able to automate the process. So by using different types of tools available in the market, so by using software robots. Let's shift to the presentation. We will discuss in detail about robotic process automation. So of course, it's one of the emerging technology in the market. Wherever we go, we are hearing about the RPA is a huge demand in the market right nowadays. By the time of 2025, we may have, RPA is number one in the market as per the IT specialists. They were telling like this. So obviously, we are seeing from last year to this year the rapid development on the, rapid requirement on this robotic process automation. So robotic process automation. So RPA or rapid process automation. So is the technology which is used to imitate human actions. It's very simple. So whatever human is doing, say let's say example, I'm opening a web browser. Okay, I'm opening web browser by using, I'm just going to copy the URL from somewhere. I'm going to open the browser. I'm entering the URL. So once you enter URL, I'm just going to click enter. The same operations, right? The same operations. This is called human action. This is called human movements. The entire human movements I'm going to mimic so by using software robots. So that is called, it is telling, so by using software robots, whatever the human is doing, Roman is typing, robot also can type it. Roman is clicking on the button, of course, the robot is also going to click on the button. So whatever the human is doing, the same operations I can able to do so by using software robots, by using different types of automation tools in the market. A robot usually at runtime environment, that is what I discussed in the previous Excel. So a robot basically is going to work on a runtime environment on which process can be executed. The process may be different. The runtime environment is nothing but what? We have the runtime environment. Let's say example, if you want to use this in IRCT's application, this application is nothing but one of the runtime environment. So where we are going to enter your user ID and password, and once you log into your IRCTC, what you are going to do, you are going to enter your username, password. I mean, after that, you are going to the source, destination, and which date you want to travel. So once you enter, so what will happen? It is going to list down the different types of trains availability on this, the source and destination as well the time and date. Right. The same thing. We have a runtime environment. Let's say example, invoicing management system or student management system, employee management system or insurance. What are the systems we have? We have different types of process available in the market, right? So where the entire business is working on. Of course, you're following me. So robot is usually a runtime environment on which different process can be executed. So, so what can be performed? Sequence of steps that human does. How sequence? I mean, step-by-step process. User is logging, of course. So by using, user is logging by entering his user ID and password. Robot, the same thing. Somewhere it is going to get the, user ID, password. It is going to enter into the system and finally click on OK. So what will happen? It's going to navigate to the main page. The same thing. If it is robot also going to follow like a sequence step. How we are going to get? I'm going to enter my user ID. Yes, robot also going to enter your user ID. Robo is also going to type the password, and Robo is also going to press enter. This is how we are doing human, right? The same step, the sequence of steps we are going to follow. Such a way we have to give instruct to my robot. I hope you're following here. So RPA processing structured data. One of the important pointers, RPA. If you want to automate any process, make sure that you have to do some analyze on it. The feasibilities they are not. So how we are going to finalize like my software. I mean to say that my application is feasibility or my application is structure or not. So make sure that you have to check your application like while you're scraping data or while you are operating any data. So make sure that you have a structured data. Let's take example. If you want to process student management system, there should be a structured input should be there. So what happens in the case of structured data in the Excel sheet? You have students like in the first row you will contain all the information like SNO, S number, I mean name, course, address, so on fields. There should be structurally defined in the Excel sheet so that I can able to get the data from Robo will pick the data from the Excel sheet because they have a structurally designed. So because I have a rows and columns data and I know that what is the difference between first row and second row, obviously you are going to get data from the first row and if I'm going to enter the student application and management and the student application and finally I'm going to click on OK. Let us talk about before automation how the student application system would be looking like. You have a student management system. So how we are going to enter your student information in your college. There should be designed application, right, where we're going to process the student management system. Now, whenever a student is joined in my college, so what will happen? I'm going to get all this information. I'm going to put into an Excel sheet, right? So what is the student name? What is the name? What is the course you have been chosen? Along with this, I'm going to enter different types of column information like address, where it's coming from, so on information. I'm going to push it into my Excel sheet. And once it's complete, right, I have hundred student information or thousands of student information in the Excel sheet. What these guys will do, they have a different persons or different team. They are going to data enter into the system. So they are going to get the Excel sheet and they have a desired application. So finally, what they are going to do, so they are getting the first row, first row. They're getting they're copying data from the first row, entering in the system, find the save. Then second row, entering in the system, find the save. Like this, they are going to enter the student information system into the database. So why can't we automate? Because they have a structured data is there, I have design application is there, so I can able to easily automate the process. If they do the manually right for entering one student information, so they require minimum 3 to 5 minutes, or they're copying the data, paste it, and they are going to validate the data and finally they are going to save it. So that is what they are doing, processing one information or entering one record. Minimum they are going to take 3 to 5 minutes. If we automate this process, obviously what will happen? I can do it, within 2 minutes or within 3 minutes or 3 to 5 minutes. So based on the validations. But My robo is keep on running. Keep on running. They're getting the data from Excel sheet. So I'm going to push the data into this and I'm going to save it. Obviously, what will happen? So whatever the data we are going to push into the fields, obviously that is going to be pushed into database. So here's how I can do the automation. So, but, I mean, if you have a structured data, as well as the application also should be structurally designed. So if you're trying to access any table or if you're trying to scrap the table, I mean, any table from the system, right, there should be a relationship between the first row and second row. Let's say example. So you have one row, I mean, one table like S and O, let's name course. And I have different types of rows will be there. I want to scrap all this information. So how we are going to scrap it? So by using, there should be, we have a selector concept. So by using selector, I can able to scrap the particular element. Here, if you want to scrap the particular element, right? So I just want to know, so like what is the ID for this? HTML designing. So where they have given the ID for that. It should be like this. See here, I know what is the relationship between the first row and second row. Here, I'm going to increment by 1. That means that so that they have designed structurally of the particular UI elements, so that I can easily write the logic. I can easily write the dynamic. I can easily form the dynamic selector here by I mean to say that by writing the logic plus one, so on so on. So I'm going to say that here even the design instead of the data, even the application UI also should be structurally designed. Then only I can able to scrap the data from the screen. So along with this, RPA focused on applications. So we have different types of applications in the market. Web applications, which will be run on the browser. So Windows, Citrix type of applications. Inside the Citrix, I think we are going to use the most of the applications. Along with that, SAP type of applications. These entire applications, like I'm going to automate this by using different types of tools available in the market. Any queries in this slide? Guys, over to you. Any queries from this slide?
No, as of now, Mohan.
Thank you, Amyati. Yeah. So I'm moving to the next slide. If you have any queries, please feel free to stop me so I can clarify the doubts. Then I'll move on to the next step. Thank you. So I'm just move on to the next one, like where it got kick-started. So basically, you might don't know, like, automation got started, where it is got started. So it is, yeah. In the beginning of automation, it is started in manufacturing and hardware automation. You might don't know, like before software automation. So like any product, they are they are manufacturing, like they are, everything is automated process. They are pushing only raw material. That's all. If you want to, if you want to manufacture one chocolate, how they are going to? They are going to push only raw material to the machines, and there is no automatic, mixture this entire raw material, and finally just come up with packing, because everything is automated here. There is no manual intervention is required. That is what. So the automation kick-started from the hardware, on as well as manufacturing field. Slowly, it is moved on to the testing automation. So what is exactly testing automation? So we have a Selenium software. So basically, let's talk about, we have to understand the difference between, we have a Selenium, right? We have RPA. So what is the basically difference between these two? To make sure that Selenium is one software, is a testing tool, but it is RPA, it is a processing tool. We have to understand these two. So here, Selenium is used to, let's say example, I have developed an application by using any technology. After development, as I'm in development team, so I'm completed my code. Once my completed code, I'm going to deploy into my testing environment for testing purpose, because I have a testing team there. So they are going to test the application. How they are going to test the application? Either manual testing or automation testing. So coming to the automation testing, so they are going to use Selenium software. They are going to push the data to particular fields, and they are going to validate whether this is, let's say, email validation. Email is correctly they have written the code or not. They're passing different desktop inputs to that field, and finally, they are going to validate the application, saying that, okay, this application is perfectly working or not. Finally, they're going to certify that, yes, you can good to go to UH. That is where Selenium automation comes into the picture. Selenium automation is only for testing the application. Selenium is a software, is one of the automation tool which is used to testing your application. But coming to the robotic process automation, the robotic automation process is nothing but once you test the application by using Selenium, finally this code I'm going to push it into the production environment where the end user are using, where the end user are going to use this. Instead of end user, I'm going to replace my software robots. That is the difference between the automation, RPA and Selenium. And we have an Excel automation, obviously, from the, it's one of the old thing. So Excel, so by using macros, even the managers still they are using macros and they are generating the reports, and they are simply passing the, they are going to push some inputs. Based on the inputs, they are going to get the, so what I'm trying to say, the generates. They are going to generate the reports. Okay. So macro is also one of the automation process that can be used in, Excel sheets. So basically, when I'm doing with Excel automation, they are going to work with the objects, but they cannot interact with the multiple windows over there. There is one of the restrictions from the Excel sheet. But all these problems you can achieve by using process automation. So what is the process automation? So I have done my application should be ready, right? So you cannot automate parallelly. So I am developing, so obviously you have to automate that. We cannot do parallelly. Once system is stabilized, that means that this system I have pushed into the production environment. Once the system is stabilized, yes, now we can automate the process since we are doing the same repetitive task or some common jobs I'm just doing those. So you can automate the process now because since I have stabilized. So we have different types of process like invoicing management system, finance management system, insurance domain, banking sector. We have different types of wide range of applications in the market nowadays, like banking, finance, logistics, insurance is a very big domain. So we have different types of process that can be automated, and we are automating process, and my bots are in the production environment. So this is called like where it's got beginning. And any queries here? Fine. So we have tools, different types of tools available in the market: UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, OpenSpan, Workfusion. All these are automate the process. All these tools are following the common steps, okay, to automate the process. All these tools have the same limitations. All the tools have the common procedure steps, except the they say that different types of vendors, as well as different types of license concept. Apart from that, the concept is same. The final is like I'm going to automate the process. This is very, very important. The concept is called why do we utilize RPA? Because why we need RPA? Why we need robotic process automation? The first point is a repetitive task, where actually in the process you may be doing all the in a common repetitive task. That is what I discussed about the invoicing management system. What exactly invoicing management system does? There are set up process, the set up company, they are going to process per day 1,000 invoices. They are getting invoices for the mail or Excel sheet. So what they are going to get, they have been assigned like you have to process 100 invoices per day or 50 invoices per day. So make sure that they have a system. So they are getting the first invoice number, they're entering into the system, and they're navigating the home page, and they are going to check whether this guy is authorized person or not. They have obviously right whatever the business process. So make sure that you are going to do like a business. Rule-based process will be there. Entire rules I'm going to check by using robotic process automation. So once done, so obviously what will happen? They are going to either release that. Either release that invoice or send it due to some reason, or deny it is a duplicate. So we may be getting a fraud invoices. Obviously, what is going to happen in the market. So we have to validate, that is called rule based, and we have to finalize the invoices. That is where, so common repetitive tasks. Let's say I'm getting some information, I'm just processing, I'm just filling it. I'm getting some data, I'm processing, I'm just relating. That is what the people sector is doing. There is no wonders, there is no nothing. They're doing daily. repeated task only. So they're getting some information. That means that they're getting invoice number. They're validating by using system, and they're finally releasing that, and they're going to process that one. That is what they are doing on daily basis. Why can't we automate the same process by using software too? That is where RPA comes to the picture. Let's say now we see now BPO is now if you could see 100%. So by the time of 2025, so what will happen? Or by 2030, BPO sector maybe 10 to 20% people will be in the BPO sector. So remaining adults will be moved out from the projects because robots is going to process that entire business process outsourcing. And second one is capability. So what is capability? So whatever the robot, whatever the human is mimic, right? The same operations, the same stuff, or using robot also capability, it is going to perform the operation as human does. So this is one of the important topic called no cost return on investment. Let's flip to the Excel sheet. I'm going to explain in detail. Okay. Let's say example, you have one company where 10 members are working. So per month you are paying 10,000 rupees per head. So the total you are going to pay 1 lakh rupees per month. So I'm just giving some rough numbers. Understand, like if you automate your process, so what is the benefit you are going to get it? That is what you have to understand. So in this context, so I have a 10 members in my company. So let's say example, I am processing invoices. Okay. So here 10 members in your company. So per person you are going to pay 10,000 rupees, and finally at the end of the day you are going to pay 1 lakh to 1 lakh rupee to my company. My employees. Now RPA comes to the picture. So RPA comes to the picture. They are going to automate the entire process where you are going to invest like 50,000 rupees. I'm just giving some rough numbers. It may be increase or decrease. So here think about this is a first month concept or first month or first year concept. You have to understand this properly. So this is my first month. So what exactly I'm doing in the first month, I have 10 members. I have paid 1 lakh as well as the second month. The first month, I'm just RPA, comes to the picture. They are going to enter automate my process like invoicing management system. So where I have invested 50,000 rupees for resources like RPA resources. So at the end of the first month, right, how much you are going to pay here? So 1 lakh 50,000 rupees you can pay for your employees as well as your for RPA. So once done this, as per RPA, one robo is equals to 3 FTE. You know what is FTE, right? So what is that? Full-time employee. If you implemented one robot that can be pushed into the production, so obviously what will happen? 3 FTEs are not required in my company because I have automated the process. My robot is running on production environment and runtime environment. So where it is going to process 3 FTEs effort. Okay. So that time what will happen? So how many bots? So let's say example, if I implemented 3 bots, so obviously you don't require 9% from your company. So obviously you can remove 9%, but 100% I cannot be able to automate the process where the human intervention is obviously sometimes right. So human intervention is required. So for that I'm going to keep 3% into my company. So just 3% into my company. Okay. So remaining 7% I just removed from my company. From second month, right, how I'm just going to pay for 3%, I'm going to for keeping purpose of to manual intervention process. So where you're going to pay 30,000 for them, along with that RPA maintenance. So what is RPA maintenance? Your software, and if you maybe require one person, for maintaining the process, you maybe get some change requests or you maybe get some error. To process this, so we need one resource or two resources. For that, you may be spending like 20,000 or 30,000. You may be spending, let's say example, 20,000 you're spending. So this is my second month operation. So here, see, after completing my second month, so here how much you are going to pay? You are going to pay just 50,000 rupees for my employees as well as my RPA maintenance. Think about the first month and the second month. Here, first month you have paid 1,50,000 rupees for your employees as well as for RPA maintenance. For RPA, no constructions here. You might have automated the process here, right? Coming to here, so at the end of the day, right? I mean, end of the second month, you are, I mean, seeing the 1,50,000 you are saving. So this is how the return on investment. You have only invested on 50,000 rupees, and think about, so what is the no? So let's say example. See this is a rapid ROI, return on investment. I have invested only 50,000, but think about how much you are saving from the second month onwards. This is called ROI. Let's say example, your business is improving. So what will happen? You may be getting more number of invoices. No? That time, if you are not automate the process, what you are supposed to do, you are supposed to recruit the people. Where you have to invest, you have to invest amount like for recruiting the people. So you have to invest on training. So make sure that because so you make sure that directly that you cannot put them in the process, right? So make sure that before you have to train up them, where you have to invest the amount. So if this amount and all I can save once you automate the process, that is also comes under the return on investment. So apart from that, here, so what will happen? I require only robot, that's all. So the same process, once you automate the process, this process can assign more than one robot without training that. That's all. So now what will happen? I have 3 robots. Future maybe either 5 robots of the same process. Here, robot doesn't require to train up, that's all. A robot, I'm going to assign the process to a particular robot. Obviously, that is going to run based on my instruction in the automation process. That is very, very important. This is for return on investment. Obviously, we have a securable thing because since we have no servers like orchestrated control room where I'm going to maintain the securable information about your robot, user ID, password, all those stuff. Any queries here? This is very, very important thing. Like basically the RPA is majorly focus on cost, return on investment. That simply they are removing the persons. So automating the process, if they require more number of resources, so simply they are getting the what I'm trying to say, they are going to buy one machine. That machine they are going to assign to that particular control room. So or they need only license, that's all. Apart from that, they don't require they don't require to pay no per month salary, or they don't require to invest on training. They don't require to invest on the recruitment process. Simply have an automated process. This I can, if you want to add more number of bots, you can add it. If you want to remove the bots also, you can remove it. This is very plug-in plug-out mechanism. Any queries here? Okay, good. So basically, right. So what are the advantages of RPA? What are the advantages? So Robo can work 24/7. Obviously, your system is up. Like my system is working 24/7. Obviously, what will happen? My system is, I mean, my Robo is keep on processing that part. Robot never sleeps. Obviously, robot will not sleep. But human, right? Human maybe sleep like drowsy because the robot people sector most of the time they're working at the late night shift. So they may be getting sleep, right? Then they are drowsy, and by the time of drowsy, what will happen? They may be doing the mistakes. But robot will never sleep, and there should be business continuity in that. So what is the business continuity? So here it will not take no rest in between the one invoice and another invoices. But human, so what they are doing, sometimes they are going to take rest, they are going to take water, they are going to take lunch, and so on, so on. So they are, obviously what will happen, there is no business continuity there, but by using robots, so I can able to do business continuity by using robotic process automation. This is one of the important concepts is one robot can perform more than one process. Let's say example, in your company, you are having more than one process. One is invoicing management system or employee management system or student management system. But these three process, I have to automate. Let's say example, you have only 2 bots. These 2 bots, I want to process, three. I want to, or I want to execute 3 processes. But what will happen at a time? You cannot run it. So what will happen? I have to different timelines. They have different schedules. Just an example. So Robo 1 and Robo 2 can perform invoicing management system for some time. Just an example. From morning 10 to 1, you can perform this SMS. I mean to say that here invoicing management system. After that, I'm going to stop the process. This same two robots, I'm going to assign to the other process, and so I'm going to schedule it for that student management system. Let it process for some time. And the same prompt and the same robot, I'm going to assign to the different types of process based on the schedules. So this is how we are doing in the orchestrator. So orchestrator is nothing but one of the control room, which we're going to talk soon. So this is the control room where I have different types of process, where I have different robots. So I'm going to run parallelly, so by using different types of schedules. But one robot will not run so two process at a time. So this is very very important. One robot will not run two process parallelly. And coming to this accuracy is very very important. So we see sometimes humans may be doing mistake, right? So what will happen? We are working for invoices maybe $1,000. Okay, if you want to release invoices maybe come up with $1 lakh. You are trying to release $1 lakh, but you are trying to instead of one maybe drowsy or some. So what will happen? Something you might have done. Key may be pressed wrongly. Instead of one, you might have pressed two. So what will happen here? So you are releasing 2 lakh instead of $1 lakh. You might have released $2 lakh. So it's a big problem. So it is going a lot of escalations as well as whoever is processing. Let's say you are the processing this one. So finally you are going to bear this amount. I'm going to say that your company has to bear this amount. So this type of there is no accuracy or quality by using human. So by using software robotic, I mean here the robotic process, I'm going to instruct my robot such a way like robo you have to press only one. Robo will press only one at a time. Robo never do mistakes. Such a way we are going to instruct my robot. That is called accuracy and quality can be achieved 100%. So by using robotic process automation, that we cannot do with manual. So next important concept is we can automate the process using existing IT infrastructure without modifying the system and databases. I don't want bother about like existing system software, existing system database. I don't want bother about it. I need system is running in system got stabilized or not. That might have developed any language like COBOL, C++, C, whatever it is, whatever the language they have used and they have developed it. I don't want bother about the system configuration. I mean software configuration or system configuration. I don't want bother about it. Even database also. So I need a system, stabilized system where I can go into scrap the data and push the data and I can automate it. That's all. We don't want bother. That is one of the advantages of the robotic process automation. We are not completely restricted on the software requirement. We are focused on the application itself. So work on multiple platforms such as we have different types of platforms available in the market, Windows, web, Java, and mainframes, SAP, different types of platforms we have. So where we are going to automate the process. So these are all the advantages of the robotic process automation. So where exactly we are using the robotic process? The first and foremost area is business process outsourcing, BPO sector, invoicing management system, healthcare domain, banking sector, insurance, logistics. These are all the wide range of areas. So where we are going to automate. Even we have successfully automated the process, and my bots are running in different types. I mean healthcare domain and banking domain and invoicing domain. So all these areas, robots are successfully working though they got succeeded and finally they faced different types of problems and finally they got succeeded and they are running bots from this wide range of process. Any queries so far? Yes, you're following or I'm not sure about because queries are it's good, right? Going good or what? No one is talking. Fine. So I'm going to talk about what we cannot automate it. So this is one of the important concepts, what we cannot automate it. If it is unstructured data, that means that or any free flow text. Sometimes the first thing is robo will not think. Robo will never think. You have automated the process. You have given instruction to the robo like robo. You have to get the data from here. You have to paste it here, and you just fix it. That's all. Robo will do something. In between, if you got any exception or if you got any pop up in between, robo will not handle this because there is no robo will not think based on the surprises. So what will happen? That time robo obviously is going to be stopped. This is one of the disadvantage. Free flow text is nothing but I have a text like this. So I have a text like this, okay? So based on sometimes, right, in especially invoices, right, for this person you have to pay 20% as amount, or for this person you have to pay 80% as amount of the total billed amount, total invoice billed amount. Like that, they're having some free flow text. Whereas if it is the text is no structure format, let's say they are all or always are following structurally, obviously what will happen? They are going to that area I can able to automate. But here, right, BPO persons they are entering different English standards. So by the time what will happen? I cannot able to automate that free flow text activities. And the one is handwritten documents. So what is handwritten document? It's like example paper invoices, something will be there writing in the paper and the client is submitting to us. Obviously what will happen? I cannot able to process because they're different persons, they are writing in different styles. So they are using some cursor, all the stuff, but Robo will not recognize exactly what they have written in this handwritten documents. So obviously what will happen? I cannot automate the handwritten documents. So obviously you are going to work on EDI, that means that electronic data interchange. So where only? So we will work on all the EDI operations. So one of the disadvantages here, right? So robo in where the human is information is required. So obviously where that means the that time robot should be think. Obviously, so what will happen? So what will happen? Obviously, what will happen where I cannot able to automate the process. So this is very important point, guys. Make sure that tomorrow once you become an RPA developer or you are working as an RPA developer. So this is very important. Saying that if any changes in application need to give re-instructions to what? Obviously, what will happen now? While see obviously what will happen? Robo will not working on the dynamic environment. That means that whatever the changes in the application will not work here. Now I am expecting one button on the screen. But development what they does without inform to the RPA team, they instead of they have changed the idea of that button, or they have changed the style of the button, or they have changed the function of the button. So what will happen? So when trying to access the particular select or particular robo, so by the time you will not get, they might have changed the ID, right? So obviously what will happen by the time this robo will is throwing the exception saying that your element is not found. So such a way you have to contract between your client and your RPA team. Make sure that you have a stabilized application. I'm going to automate this application. If any changes on the application, so make sure that before you push these changes in the production environment, before you should intimate your RPA team. So whatever changes here, the RPA is going to that automate that the changes process, and so both of the persons can go to the live at a time. That is what can be do so in the real-time environment. This is important point. If any change in application, need to give re-instruction to a bot. Obviously, you have such a way you have to see. I'm expecting something on the screen, but it is not. That is not there. That is got changes to done in the development environment, but that is not informed to the robotic process automation team. So obviously, what will happen if without informing us, I mean to say that RPA, they are going to push in the production environment. By the time, what will happen? Obviously, it is going to throw an exception saying that the element is not found or the selector is not matched. Something you will get it. So this is one of the important contract between the client and the RPA. So which is not work faster than human. This is one of the important. Some people maybe say it work faster than human. No. So human right, human you simply type enter. Typically, sometimes working for web applications, what will happen? The pages may be respond fast, or sometimes the pages may be respond slow. So for fast and slow, such a way you have to give instruct to my robot. Just like example, if you process an invoice in a system, per person is going to take 5 minutes, but when I'm going to automate, it's obviously going to take 5 to 7 minutes time. Because I have to wait for, but person said immediate whenever navigate to some other page, they are immediately know, they will know like, well, I'm into the second page. Then immediately it is going to perform the operations. But here, robo, I have to give some default wait time saying that, so when to navigate the particular page, I want to check any element is found or not. Once the particular element is found, then only I can able to process this automation. This is how a set of rules, set of instructions that should be common to the robots, right? So obviously by the time what will happen, it is going to take some time. But here, business continuity will be there. So keep on, the robot is working, and it is going to process more than the humans. But that is what um, thing. These are the limitations of the robotic process automation. So this is about robotic process automation introduction. I think you might have clear about where exactly we are using, what is exactly robotic process automation, where exactly we are using, why we are using this, and what are the limitations and what are the advantages and advantages of robotic automation we have seen. Any queries? Over to you. Any queries so far? If good, then we'll move on to the what I'm trying to say, UiPath. And I'm going to talk about 15 to 20 minutes about UiPath components. Any queries? Fine, thank you. Let's move on to the UiPath introduction. So UiPath is one of the tool. Basically, I'm going to deal with UiPath as an automation tool. So UiPath is one of the automation tools. By using that, I'm going to automate the process. UiPath is a complete solution for application integration. Yes, it's a complete solution. I can able to automate any type of application. So it will be Windows, web, and Java, or just mainframes, whatever it is. I'm going to automate this process. So basically, we are going to automate the software applications alone. Okay. So what is the workflow? We are going to talk about completely throughout the session, right? I mean, throughout the course, we are going to completely talk about the workflow. So what is a workflow? So make sure that the such RPA, one of the term is called workflow. You have to design a workflow saying that the process should be automated. So workflow is nothing but it's a graphical representation of business process to automate rule-based process. Whatever you are, let's say example, you are logging to particular machine, to particular application. This we are talk about one workflow, login workflow. So that what exactly you are doing, you are going to showing like a graphical representation, like where we're having a sequence and flow chart. So by using this, I can able to show the graphical representation. So graphical representation. So where we are going to automate the business process. Very simple. So graphical representation is how your flowchart will be looking like. So I'm going to start. I'm going to read the application. I'm taking decisions saying that this guy is a valid user or not. If it's a valid user, obviously what will happen? I'm going to navigate to the particular page. Else I'm going to say the message that this guy is not a valid user password. This is what a small workflow, which is a form of a form of sequences and flowchart. Sequence and flowchart is about activities here. So based on the activities, I can design a graphical user interface. So there are basically the main types of workflows supported are. The workflow is a combination of sequence and flowcharts or state machines. So what is a sequence? The sequence is nothing but is suitable for linear process. It's a direct process I have. So I mean to say that just coming to here, I'm going to swap it, I'm going to come back here. That is what I don't want to take any decision. I don't want to take any, take any something. So in these areas, I am just going to follow step-by-step process. That means sequentially I'm going to follow step-by-step. I'm going to get that. I don't want to take any decisions over there. So smoothly go from activity to activity. Activities are nothing but we have different types of activity like click activity, type into activity, get activity, set activity. So we're going to talk about the activities. So in the course, right, we're going to talk about a few activities in detail. That is called sequence. So what is the flow chart? So flowchart is nothing but it's suitable for more complex business logic, where I have to take the decisions. So based on the decisions, I have to navigate to either decision will always have in two parts, either true or a false. So if condition is true, then I have to go to the true or false. Condition is false, obviously I have to go for negative. I mean to say that false path. So like this, we have by using flowchart. Obviously, in real-time environment, in most of the cases, we are going to use flowcharts instead of sequence. Again, flowchart is what? Is a combination of sequences again. So where we are going to put the sequence, and into the sequence, I'm going to write the small stuff, and I'm going to connect with this sequence and bind. I'm going to check, check the condition. I'm going to say that and check the decision that this guy is perfectly logged in or not. So that's very simple. The combination of sequence and flowchart is about workflow. Again, the sequence is nothing but a collection of flowcharts. Again, a flowchart is also a collection of sequences. Okay, so we have to design a workflow such a way we can understand it. Now we are developing workflow that can be understandable tomorrow also. I mean, once the production is done, so some other guy will go and support this. Obviously, he has to understand what are the code you have written. Such a way you have to the code. So saying that it should be properly connected, properly decision making, and those stuff. It's a very important topic. We are completely going to talk about this course, these three components. UiPath. There are three types of components available in UiPath Studio. UiPath. The one is UiPath Studio, UiPath Robot, and UiPath Orchestrator. It's one of the important backbone of the UiPath. So what UiPath Studio does? By using UiPath Studio, I can able to automate the process by using, in the form of like a visual diagrams. How the flow chart will be looking like. From the start and getting the information like square brackets, and is it like a decision making where you have diamond symbol where you are going to push some decision and like either true or a false, something it is going to be looking like this. I'm going to show one small example after this from this session. So by using UiPath Studio, I can able to here obviously developers work is using is one of the integrated development environment (IDE). So where we are going to process, where we are going to automate, where we are going to run it, where we are going to debug it. Once you complete, once you've done everything, this entire process, I'm going to publish into my orchestrator. So orchestrator will talk. So what is the publish also will talk. Now, now what will happen? I have completed my automation process by using UiPath Studio. UiPath Studio is nothing but one of the tool where we are going to, we have different types of activities. We can go into connect together and finally the entire workflow is ready to automate your process. Now I have done the entire code right. I'm going to push it to my orchestrator. So what is orchestrator? So orchestrator is nothing but one of the control room where you are going to process this type of operations. So what is this? It is a web application. So the orchestrator is one of the web application that is being published. Published into IaaS. IaaS, IaaS is Internet Information Services, one of the server where we are going to push it into all your web applications. So here, by using orchestrator, I want to create the robots. How we are going to create the robots? It's very simple. I have a machine and I have a server. So server is nothing but what here? The control room is the orchestrator. I want to link between this client, this robot and or a machine to your control room. So how we are going to? We have to made a relationship between these two. Then only this machine is going to add into the orchestrator as a robot. That we will discuss in detail when we talk about UiPath Orchestrator. So Orchestrator is very important concept. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to run bots from Orchestrator at the end of our course. So we have to create the robots into the orchestrator. Once you create the robots in the orchestrator, I have to create the process. So what is the process here? So you have developed the invoicing management system by using UiPath Studio. Once you develop this process into once you develop it, so I have tested everything is done. Finally, this entire process I am going to publish into my orchestrator. So orchestrator is what? Is a control room where it is going to process the bots and it's going to monitor the bots. All the stuff it's going to take from backend. Fine. So this process, right? Once you deploy it into orchestrator, I want to create the process for this. So what is the create process? So once you deploy this, it is going to deploy it as a nugget package into orchestrator, like a one DLL or jar files, or if you are coming from like .NET background, like a DLL is coming from Java, it may be jar files, something like this. It is going to be deployed into orchestrator. Once deployment is done, for the deployment code for nugget package, I want to give one process name. That is nothing but like invoicing management system or student management system or employee management system, where you are going to give the the process name into the orchestrator. Once the process has been created, my robots are ready and my process is ready. Then what else you require? One of the important topic called assets. Assets is nothing but what? It's a configurable. Let's say example, you have web.config file or app.config file. You might have, if you are coming from like on a .NET or Java, we have a configure file saying that. So why we go for configuration? I'll give a good example here. We have a database connection string. So what is database connection string? If you want develop any back end operations, like I want to store some data in database. I'm doing some process. I got some exception. This exception I want to write into my database. So that time what will happen? You require database operations. Let's say example, you are interacting with a SQL server. If you want to interact with SQL server, where you require connection string. Connection string is required. What is the connection string? The connection is a combination of what is the database name. So what is the server name? What is the user ID? What is the password? All these properties together we used to call it as connection string. So once connection string, so this connection string, right? Now we are developing mission. When you are developing mission, right? You may be connection string is different. That may be local server name, local user ID, and password. The same code you are going to push it into testing environment. By the time what will happen? There server is different. Obviously, you have to change instead of your dev server, you have to change it to testing server. And testing user ID password is also different. But of course, database name is same, but the no locate environment is different. That means that testing server name and testing user ID and testing password, all these are different. The same code tomorrow you are going to push it into U8 environment where the server name is different, user ID passwords are different. The same code finally you are going to push it into production environment where your server, to say the service of obviously server is different, user ID password and also different. So this type of information I should not hard code into my machine, hard code into my code. So this type of information, I'm going to push it into assets. Assets nothing but environment variable. Assets are nothing but environment variable, where based on the environment, I can simply change the string itself into on the assets from the orchestrator. If we run it, obviously what will happen, which is going to get the data from or push the data into particular specified server. Like no user ID, password, all this stuff, I'm going to push it into assets. Assets is nothing but a configurable thing like environment variable. Now I have a robot is ready, my process is ready, and assets are ready. So what is required? This is nothing but queue. A queue is nothing but like where we are getting data. That means that if you want to process invoicing management system, you require a set of invoices. Right, these invoices we are going to push it into your queue. The queue is one of the important concepts in the orchestrator where we are going to get, where we are going to get input to process your invoicing management system. Now I'm going to push all the invoices to my queue. Now, so what is, I'm pretty much good now. I deployed my process. I have created my bot. This bot also I have been assigned to particular process. Once this is done, my assets are done. My queue is also data with data. Now, next job is I want to kickstart my bot. That means that I want to kickstart my job, saying that you have to process your automate. You want to process the particular you are automate the particular process. When you suppose that you have a machine one, if you switch on machine one and see, when you kickstart bot from orchestrator, if you see your machine without touching that, you keep on opening the application, entering the user ID password, and it's doing some operation, whatever the instructions which you have given to the robot. So all the operation is going to perform. So by using the from the orchestrator itself, I can kickstart the bots. So here, orchestrator, you can create n number of processes, you can create n number of robots based on the license. So you can work more than one process based on the schedules. So what is the schedule here? So let's just say example, BPO sector. So business process now, the system may be up by daily per day. They may be working 12 hours or 13 hours, remaining another the application may have down. So obviously my application is going to up by morning 10 o'clock. It is going to end by evening 8. Obviously what will happen? I'm going to schedule it. Even this job is going to run on Saturday, Sunday without intervention of the human here. Even that is what we can schedule it, and you can go to home. Obviously by the time when the time is triggered, the bot is going to process entire What I'm trying to say, it is going to process. So based on your boss, based on your selected process, it's going to work on it. Obviously, don't bother about that. That is called schedules. So if you want to run manually jobs, you can select the particular process, select the particular robot, and click start. Obviously, that particular process is going to be work. And one of the important concepts called logs. So logs are very, very important. But logs is nothing but, so we are writing logs while developing our application, right? The same logs I can now monitor from the orchestrator. So go to the logs option, select a particular robot, and check what robot one is doing. So I can see the logs. Like you might have written a lot of logs while developing application, right? All these things I can able to see. Like robo entered into login page. This robo performing this operation, validating the user. All this stuff I can see at the orchestrator logs option. So this one more this if you want to process this we need UiPath robot. UiPath robot is nothing but what? Whatever the process which we have automated, it is going to execute the whatever automated process where we are going to execute it by using software robots. UiPath robot. Robots can work unattended. That means that not require human observations. So when I kickstart my jobs, I can see whether the first invoice is processed correctly or not. If this is invoice was corrected, then I don't want to monitor it after. If we get any exceptions, something obviously where we can configure saying that if you got an exception, so I can get mail from the particular bot saying that this is exception you got it. So they should make should take necessary action immediately. Otherwise, something you have traced in the mail body. So obviously you may be getting the data. You may be getting the mail from the orchestrator itself. That we have to configure it. Further, we have to write the code. These are all the three important components in the UiPath Studio and UiPath. So coming to the architecture, how the data is flowed. The same thing, whatever we discussed in the previous section, the same thing we are going to discuss here. UiPath Studio is one of the components where we are going to automate the process, and we have a drag and drop options over there. Here we don't require to write much code. Here we don't require if your background is in technical or non-technical, I don't want to bother about it. If you know the basics of any technology, where it is going to write the code, it's good enough to write the code in the UiPath Studio. So the process is ready. The same process I'm going to deploy into my orchestrator. So it will be deployed as Nugget package. This Nugget package, I'm going to create the process. Here it is going to interact with any third-party API like Google Calendar, Google API, any type of third-party APIs. It is going to interact here. So by using UiPath Orchestrator, so I can able to execute or monitor this type of applications. What is that? Mainframe, web, Citrix, SAP, desktop. This type of application I can able to monitor. In this UiPath Orchestrator, what we can do? So robotic workforce is a managed, controlled, and monitor robo creation, assets creation, process creation, queue creation, schedules, logs, and to say that here I can able to generate the reports by using Orchestrator. This entire process can be executed by using robots. That means execute the process automatically and accurately. This is your architecture data flow from the UiPath Studio to UiPath Orchestrator. UiPath Orchestrator is nothing but is one of the back office where I'm going to run multiple jobs at a time. So there are two types of bots are available. One is front office robo and back office robo. What is the front office robo? The front office robo is nothing but where you are running bot from your local machine. So while you are developing environment, obviously you are going to run your application. Then by the time what will happen, so front office robo is going to work. Back office robo is nothing but I am going to kickstart the robots from the orchestrator back office where I can kickstart multiple bots at a time. That is called back office and front office. So this is about a small architecture about this. Any more queries here?
Mohan, for test automation,
Yeah.
if we have the scripts, we used to run the scripts. So somebody should run the script. So as you said in RPA, we don't have to run the script manually. So you will be scheduling it. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
So no need of manual intervention to run the bots?
Yes. See, I have a, no, if you want run, if you want run the script also for that script, you can schedule it. Like, no, I want to run this script by the time morning 6 o'clock. Yes, you can schedule that. You can assign that process to a particular robot. So you can schedule that particular process. That's all. By the time of morning 6 o'clock, the job is going to run. I mean, by the time the job is going to run, it is going to pick the script and it's going to execute. So like, no, jobs, bad jobs.
So, what is the difference between the normal schedules we do normally in servers, and what is the main difference between the schedules and the RPA schedule?
I'm not getting RPA schedule and script scheduling, right?
Normally, schedule also we can schedule the job.
Yes,
If you
yes.
say in mainframes,
Mm-hmm.
we have the end of day process. Say for example, in banking domain, we do have the end of day process and start of day process. So we basically those are all the small crunch of scripts which we have scheduled. So
Mm-hmm.
it will be running sequentially
Yes.
as per the schedule time we have scripted. So, what is the main difference between those schedules and the RPA schedules? So, this is eventually we are doing for a long time now. So, what is the main difference and what is the main advantage of RPA now?
Yes. See, very simple. The RPA is completely focused on the process. Okay, it may be jobs or it may be something. I told you, right? What is the BPO is doing? Business process outsourcing. They have a desired application. So they are daily basis. They are coming into the office. They are getting some invoices. They are processing and they are finalizing the particular process. Right? So RPA is completely focused on the process where human is effort is required and where they are doing repetitive tasks. So this entire process I'm going to automate it. This process I can schedule it from the orchestrator. Here, whenever the schedule is kick-started, what will happen? So obviously that whatever the box you have been assigned to this, what will happen if you open and see this particular machine, the entire applications keep on processing like how is human is doing the same thing is processing. But coming to your schedule part, because you are running some script so far that you might have scheduled it, right? So what is the script is this? The script maybe you are doing like you are getting some data from somewhere, you are going to push it to somewhere. That is what you are doing on the schedules. But here the processing schedules. The processing schedule is nothing but so I have completed the process. This process I have been assigned to more than one robo. So more than one robo will parallelly work. It is going to pick 10. If you, let's say example, you have 100 invoices into your queue. So 10 bots kick started. It is going to pick the queue is nothing but first in first out, right? It is going to take first you have whatever the invoices you have been inserted in the queue. It is going to pick the 10 invoices. It is going to process in the 10 missions. Are you following me, Ramya?
Yeah.
So that is a major difference. Here, RPA is completely focused on the process. The process is nothing but like where exactly end user is doing. Obviously, here also you are scheduling. The schedule is maybe what it does. You are running some scripts. The same script also I am going to schedule apart from the process from the orchestrator.
Okay.
You got it?
Because in a bank, even the end user do the reconciliation and all. So to automate or to schedule it only, uh, we have scripted the schedules to reconcile the accounts, to what to say, to post the interest, everything. So all those things will be coming in the end of day process, and my schedule will be taking care of all these activities. As you said, these are all the process uh, which the end user does.
I'll
So
put in
my
this.
schedule take care of all these process activities. So what is the main advantage for me to install RPA instead of my schedule?
Okay, fine. You are creating an account, right? Okay, whenever the customers come to the bank, right? You are creating the
Yes,
account creation process. So can you run the
yes,
jobs for this to creating the what I'm trying to say? Can you run this job for man? To say that from the end of the day, how we are going to add your data into your system. Can you do it this using normal scripts?
End of day process doesn't include all these things.
Yes.
Mainly the end of day
But
process
coming
will
to
be
this,
doing the
yeah, yeah,
reconciliation
only
and
what you are going to do, you are scheduling something saying that, so I want to detect some amount, okay, let's say example, trade or
yeah,
any EMS will be there, right? That is normally one
yeah,
schedule, that is jobs are running from the back end, you got it, right?
yes,
So, but here, I'm working on this, account creations, right? You have 100 members information, okay? Simply you're going to push it into one Excel sheet. I'm going to kickstart my process, okay? To create the accounts. So where we have a registration form, okay? So we are going to get the customer information, push it into there, and finally I'm clicking on save. Save. This process I can able to automate. I can schedule it. You have to completely
okay,
understand what that job and this job. I hope you got it now, right?
yeah, got it.
Yeah. So we have to think in that aspect. The people are always confusing like I'm writing script, okay, what is the difference between that script and this script? Okay. You are writing script. How much of code you require there? You have to spend more time. You require technology skills to write this code, even script for that. But coming to here, coming to here, I don't require much no code. I have only drag and drop option. I have drag and drop option to make sure that a small set of instructions I have to give my robot so I can schedule it. So obviously, that's no, you can run it. You have the time spending on this, creating a process is very less than scripts.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
what is the difference between this UiPath and the Blue Prisms? We have two different tools. So both the tools will be doing the same thing, or is there any major advantage of UiPath than Blue Prism?
See, both are same thing. UiPath is also control room. UiPath is also one no IDE where we are going to process. But in terms of license, is very fast. UiPath is no less cost than Blue Prism. I'm not sure about what exactly cost, I mean license cost and all, how they are and all, but coming to the it's very high. Blue Prism is very high than UiPath. If UiPath is user friendly, it's a bit user friendly than Blue Prism.
Okay, what is the license cost for UiPath?
So that is, I'm not sure. We have to interact with the UiPath team.
Okay,
Even my companies also, even the management taking will be taking care. The cost and all like very less when compared with other tools. Even Automate Anywhere and Blue Prism, it is this lesser cost.
okay, Mohan, thank you.
So, Pradeep, I think this license cost and all right. So we have to connect with the team right now. I'm not sure about the license cost and all. I know only technical part of this. Any more queries, guys? Okay, let's look at the UiPath tool. So I'm just going to talk about like 2 minutes about how we are going to run a small program like Hello World. Okay, here this is IDE. So I can see here recent projects. If you want to create new project, I can click on the blank. So this is UiPath tool. I'm just doing test underscore demo. And by default, this is the location C colon user, so particular user, and documents UiPath folder. And under this, all my projects are going to push into this. So this is my workflow area. This is my workflow area where I'm going to design the process. So this is called my activities. So we have different types of activities, sequence. Okay. If you want to display some data on the screen, I have a white line activity like hello world. Simple. So save this. This is a front office robot. I'm going to run it from my local. Just click on F1. My robot is running. So you will get one more instance here. See, this command is out. And this is how the data I can print it here. So next thing is I just want to scrap some data on the screen, or I want to push some data on the screen. How we are going to push it? The main important concept of this tool is I want to interact with applications, right? So I just open some browser here, Chrome. See, very simple. I want to enter some data here. So how we are going to enter some data here? So we have an activity called type into. See, type into activity. We have to indicate. We have to get the selector of this one. Guys, able to hear me? I can then connection is got lost here. I just reconnected.
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I think my connection is got disconnected here. So I'm just opening Google. Yes. Now let's click to the UiPath Studio. I just indicate on the screen. See here, I'm just getting the particular selector. When I click it, see here what data you want to type it. If you could see this selector, I can these are the properties. We'll discuss in detail about the user interface selector. See, this is my selector particular this element. See, title is Google. This is the list tab. So this is about the particular. I want to type something like UiPath. So I want to type. Okay. It got stuck actually. Fine. I don't have any errors right now. I want to type on the screen like UiPath and how it is going to work. So let's save this and run it. Here I don't have any manual intervention to type this. My robot is going to type UiPath on the screen. My robot started. Yeah, here. Just got typed here. You could see See, this is how I want to type something, or if you want to scrap data from here, I can able to scrap the data by using different types of activities. So this is how your UiPath tool is going to interact with the elements on the screen. Any queries, guys? The license cost is different based on the bot from the orchestrator and based on the development teams. That is what I'm trying to say. It may be different to different, so based on the uh, requirement. Yeah. Any more queries? Actually, I'm done with my robot RPA interaction as well as few components of components of the UiPath Studio. Do you have anything else? Any concerns? Any feedback? Feel free to talk with me. I'm just going to give it 2 minutes time. Any queries? Also feel free to talk. Guys, use me?
No, Mohan. Yeah,
Any concern, Ramya?
No, as of now, I don't have any concern. It was a very good demo session. I just got the initial concept on the RPA and also on UiPath.
Thank you,
So,
Ramya. Yeah.
it's a good demo class. Thanks.
Thank you. Guys, others, do you have anything else? Rahul, evening.
Actually, as someone said, it was a very useful demo.
No, can you please bit louder, Pradibha? I'm not hear your voice. Can you please bit louder? Hello.
Yeah, yes, like,
I'm sorry, yaar. I'm extremely sorry. I'm not hear your voice. Can you text me if you don't
am I
mind?
audible now?
Yeah, yeah, it's fine now. Can you please talk?
Yeah. So for it's quite good. So probably you you start.
No,
Yeah,
Pradibha. I think your voice is breaking here. I'm sorry. Others also facing same issue from Pradibha or me alone? Am I able to hear our voice?
It's very feeble.
Yeah, yeah.
Pradipha, probably you can type your query on the chat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is better, Pradibha. Okay, okay. Okay, so obviously, what are the doubts you're going to get it by the time of control, right? So I'm here to take care of all the clarification to clarify your doubts. That's good. Any more queries, Pratibha? Apart from Pratibha, others, any queries? If it is good, I'm going to go to wind up the session. Okay, guys, thanks for your time. Over to Shakti. So Shakti will be taking care of scheduling the batch and all. So you please connect with him and we'll kickstart as soon as possible. Whenever you're ready, so I'm going to kickstart Shakti.
Mohan, hello, Mohan. Hello,
Yeah, tell
Mohan.
me, Shakti. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shakti, I'm able to hear
Mohan,
you. Please tell me.
we have Rahul and team in the call.
Okay.
Okay, probably all others are experienced and Rahul is a fresher.
Okay.
Okay, and he is a final.
My
Even
final
he
like
wanted to do a project.
I'm sorry, Shakti. Say it again.
Yeah, Rahul and team, they wanted to do a final year project in RPA using UiPath. So if you can guide offline Rahul on this, it would be great.
Sure, that. See, whoever, so my class will be whoever experienced guy or a fresher. So my class is common for both. Okay, I'm going to kickstart from basics. So I'm going to traverse from each and every concept. So I'll do my best on this, Rahul. So we can select a particular process. So I'm going to guide you how to automate that process. No issues.
Mohan, if you don't mind, how many years of experience you have in UiPath?
I have 1.5 years
You are
experience in paper.
okay.
So basically, I'm completely focusing on like orchestrated part. So where I'm just um, so what I'm trying to say, I'm just completely focusing on top to end bottom, like development, and I'm just pushing into code into orchestrator. From where I'm just going to kickstart all the things. I'm just completely focused on from top to bottom in my process. So make sure that right. So I'm just giving reference. I'm just going to run my bot. So if you go with any other institute, so they may not be run the bot from orchestrator. So orchestrate is one of the important concept for experienced persons. It is one of the key area how we are going to deploy, how we are going to run the bots from the orchestrator, how the assets, all those things which we have to take care of. But make sure that I'm giving reference. I'm going to run the bot from orchestrator. So orchestrate is going to take 2 or 3 hours class. The placement wise, I mean, Shakti is going to take care of that one, Pratibha. Yeah. Any more queries, guys?
No queries from my side.
Thanks, Ramya. Okay, guys, thank you. I think the Shakti is going to take. That's all, right? Shakti, do you have anything else? Hello, Shakti, are you in the call?
Yeah, Mohan, I'm on the call. I'll connect with them offline and I'll clarify if they have any other doubts.
Sure. Pratibha is talking, but I'm not able to hear your voice, Pratibha. I'm extremely sorry. I don't know how you are connected from mobile, or I'm not sure. I'm literally, I'm not able to hear your voice. I'm extremely sorry. No. Hello. Okay, guys, that's all from my end. If you want to talk with me, you can interact with Shakti. So he's going to give you like know how we are going to talk. Okay. Thank you, Shakti and team. So we'll see in the next class. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mohan.
Thanks, Mohan.
Thank you, guys. We'll connect it. Thank you.